Giving every child the chance to fall in love with soccer, no matter their background, identity, or ability. That's the mission of the Soccer Unity Project. The Boston-based nonprofit offers free soccer programs to youth ages 3 to 19. These programs are open to all Boston kids and comes with uniforms, equipment, and, a whole lot of fun. Joining me now is Foscato, president and founder of the Soccer Unity Project, and Anshi Moreno Jimenez, a senior policy advisor for the office of Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
I'm so excited to talk with you about this, especially with all the energy surrounding the World Cup. So Caroline, we know your organization is all about growing the next generation while growing the love of the game. How are you leaning into all this World Cup excitement?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's palpable, like what you can feel with our families, because we run youth and adult programming and what people are seeing. So some of the things we've been able to navigate through support with the city, Anshi and I work very closely together, and some other partners. One of them is a national partner, Street Soccer USA, with the support and backing of Bank of America and Visa, are building soccer parks around the country and in host cities. And so we actually worked with the city and with the Boston Housing Authority and built one of those right in the middle of one of their properties at West Broadway, activating play. And that's directly because of the World Cup and how people are choosing to lean in at this moment. We're also looking at some other opportunities in neighborhoods, in communities that haven't had the access, to increase that access of play.
It's beautiful to hear. And Anshi, I know, how does this city can serve as an important partner for the Soccer Unity Project? I know she mentioned some of it there. What else do you guys do to partner there?
Well, we're so lucky to have partners like CityLine and all the youth sports organizations. I'm actually a product myself of that partnership and what it can mean for programming and having fields near you. Before I worked at the mayor's office, I grew up in Roxbury, and I played soccer because there was a walkable field near me, and there was a team at my Boston public school, the Hennigan, and I played ever since, and I still play today. But that was possible not because I had a ride to every game, but because I had an adult and partners who invested in me. And so I see that now on the other side, working with our partners to build the pitches, the programs, the coaches and referees that build that self-confidence in kids to play and to grow and be safe. So it's that partnership that we really value and means a lot to every kid in Boston.
Absolutely, and it's personal for you too, it seems like, because you have that connection. And I know, Caroline, that each year your organization hosts the Boston Unity Cup. We have some video here. Players from across the city, they take part in the tournament. It's meant to show off the city's different culture, communities. How does the event bring the same spirit of the World Cup to our city on a smaller scale?
Yeah, I mean, it is. We've been running this for 7 years. It is our own mini World Cup style tournament right here. So this year alone, we will have over 35 nations represented on 32 men's teams and 10 women's teams. These are adult teams. They'll play for a month. That first day, some of that video you see, we have a parade of nations where they're all displaying their flags. And we've had people say, I don't have another moment where I can be in the city of Boston, be proud to be a Bostonian, be proud to be from my culture, my nation, and proud to be an American all at the same time. So it is the city's most culturally diverse events you will see. We will have close to 800 players playing. We'll have a couple hundred youth in youth jamborees that we run as part of it. And then we'll have hundreds of people come and watch and cheer on, their people. And it's really beautiful to see people be able to have that moment of celebration of who they are in an open, free, loving way.
It's a beautiful thing, We mentioned it earlier that this month the Visa Street Soccer Park opened in South Boston. You mentioned on West Broadway. The space was a parking lot before. Now it's a facility with 2 mini pitches. It's beautiful. Anshi, how are you intentional about choosing where something like this is built?
Yeah. Well, we partnered with the Boston Housing Authority and looked at empty parking lots where a lot of kids live. At South Boston at West Broadway, there's over 500 kids that live right there and a school nearby, and they didn't have that safe mini pitch to come, so now they'll be able to walk after school and go there. We have one coming at the McKay in East Boston as well, and we're just really excited because the World Cup feels like the spark. It's been brewing. We have like the highest soccer participation in schools. The Boston Boston Soccer League. It's a travel league, the first one in Boston, started for organized soccer. Boston Legacy is Boston's newest professional team. We're building White Stadium. Like, there's so much going on. And these mini pitches allow us to bring that to kids right where they are, and to be able to just walk outside and have a city where it's right there for you.
Perfect. You know, Caroline, how are you calling on the community to support this association? How can they get involved?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. So we're really a community-based organization. I mean, we have dozens, sometimes hundreds, depending on the event. Like Uni Cup alone will have over 100 volunteers. So we have people come and volunteer. But I think the thing that we talk about a lot is the spark is great, this excitement, this moment, but we get these spaces built. Then we need our private partners, our corporations, our folks in the community, our philanthropy to lean in and say, we want to make this sustainable. We want to have, there's a lot of data that shows that kids start playing, continue playing, or decide to stop playing because of the coaches, because of the adults. You need trained people there that understand youth and understand what to do. And so we need people to partner and say, you know what, we want to make sure, not just this year, but in 5 years and 10 years, we're going to be providing the programming that feels safe and welcoming to each of these communities. Because the reality is, you could have a million things across the city, but if it's not in a place where someone lives, that they feel like they want to be part of something and it feels like something that is theirs and they can identify with. So we're really asking anyone in the community to join us in this and creating the sustainable path, that it's not just this generation, it's the next generation that's having this access. And we can only do that with more people leaning in.
Absolutely. Access is so important. And you kind of touched on it here, because when the World Cup ends, you want to build on that momentum. So how do you plan to kind of keep that going and kind of keep that energy alive, even when this is all said and done?
Yeah. Well, our partnerships are meant to be long-term, whether it's with CityLine, Street Soccer USA. And so we're thinking about, yes, building the pitch and the programming. So if you're a business, an organization, a community leader, come coach, come ref, come show up and help us organize. It's a time to build now and make sure that for the next generation of kids, they have that adult that can hold their hand and make sure that they keep playing.
It's really important too, because I think a lot of folks who might be watching are, you know, really energized by the World Cup. They were soccer players. We just had Paolo in, right, talking about he used to play soccer. Yeah. Who didn't maybe know of an organization like this that they can get involved in. So it's really important what you all are doing. Have to ask you now, since the World Cup is here, who are you rooting for in the World Cup? I'll start with you, Caroline.
Well, I mean, I have to root for USA, right? Like that's unequivocal. But I will say, so, you know, we've had close ties with the Cape Verdean community for a while, and actually Cabo Verde on the men's side has won Boston Unity Cup 4 times.
Ah!
Yeah, and USA and Honduras on the women's side, and then last year we had Italy win it. So my heart kind of goes to those. But I will say, I'm going to say it out publicly, I did pick a dark horse of Morocco.
Okay.
And so I'm just, you know, but number one, of course, always USA.
Love it. And how about you, Anshi?
My family's from Ecuador, so I have to root them on, but of course USA as well. And I think we'll have some surprises. I think that's right.
It's an exciting couple of matches here that are coming up, so we'll have to see how it all shakes out. We appreciate you both for being here and for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
really
you,
appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, coming up, crafting an itinerary with local businesses in mind. How the city of Boston is helping small businesses thrive while the World Cup takes over Massachusetts.